Phantasmal Flames is finally here, so we're going to have a little look at the Mega Charizard EX deck. Let me know in the comments down below if you're planning on using this deck. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe down below. So first of all, we're going to start with 3 Charmanders. One Charmander from Phantasmal Flames with the 80 HP, which just gives it a little bit more survivability, and the Agile ability, which lets it retreat if it has no energy attached. We're going to use 2 copies of the Charmeleon with Flare Veil, which prevents all effects of attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon done to this Pokemon. We'll be using 1 copy of Pheasant Deputy EX with that amazing Flip the Script ability. Once during your turn, if any of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn, you may draw 3 cards. We'll be using 2 Charizard EX with the amazing Infernal Rain ability. When you play this card from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you get to search your deck for up to 3 basic fire energies and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. And that amazing Burning Darkness attack, which does 180 damage, plus 30 more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. Which means that this is a great Charizard to power up your Mega Charizard, or to power up your Moltres as well that you've got on the bench. And as your opponent starts to take more prizes, this hits even harder. You want to start with this Charizard EX and then use your Mega later on. We're going to be using 2 copies of Mega Charizard EX with that Inferno X attack. It does 90 times the amount of fire energy that you discard from amongst your Pokemon. So this is like Raging Bolt, but hits even harder. The downside using Mega Charizard X EX is that it is now worth 3 prizes, so you have to be careful when using it, because you don't want to be giving up too many prizes too soon. Then we'll be using 2 copies of Pidgey, 1 copy of Pidgeotto, 2 copies of Pidgeot EX with that amazing quick search ability. Once you're on your turn, you may search your deck for a card and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck afterwards. Now this is the engine of the deck, allowing you to pick any card out of your deck that you need. You want to get into Pidgeot EX as soon as you can in this deck. Then we'll be using 1 copy of the new Oricorio EX. It's often you'd like during your turn. If you have any Mega Evolution Pokemon EX in play, you may use this ability to attach basic energy from your hand straight to one of your bench Pokemon. So this is great using it with Mega Charizard EX, because he then allows you to attach as many fire energies as you can. And then we'll be using 1 copy of Moltres with that Fighting Wings attack. It does 20, plus if your opponent's active Pokemon is a Pokemon EX, this attack does 90 more damage, meaning it does 110. If you're up against an Ogerpon EX, it's also hitting for weakness, doing 220 damage. Then the items. We're going to use 4 Buddy Buddy Boffin, lets you search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less and put them on your bench. 3 copies of Rare Candy, so you can skip stage 1s and go straight to stage 2s. 1 copy of Dawn, so you can search your deck for a basic Pokemon stage 1 and a stage 2. We're going to use 1 copy of Super Rub, so we can shuffle 3 unending combination of Pokemon or energy. 1 copy of Artisan, which allows us to search for a basic Pokemon without a rule box and put it onto our bench. We'll be using 2 copies of Iono, so we can disrupt our opponent's hand, meaning that both of us have to shuffle our hands, put it at the bottom of the deck, and draw for how many prize cards we have. Then we'll be using 2 copies of Battle Cage, which prevents all damage counters from being placed on bench Pokemon by effects of attacks and abilities from opponent's Pokemon, meaning that we're going to stop those Dragapults from being able to launch those damage counters onto our bench, and also Monkey Dory can't then fling damage back towards our bench Pokemon. We're going to be using 1 copy of Earthen Vessel, so we can discard a card in hand to draw 2 basic energy cards. Our ace spec of choice is going to be the Maximum Belt, meaning that our attacks do 50 more damage to our opponent's active Pokemon. 1 copy of Technical Machine Evolution. For 1 energy, we can choose up to 2 of our bench Pokemon and evolve them to the next stage. We're going to be using 2 copies of Arven, so we can search our deck for an item card and a Pokemon tool, a way to go into our Maximum Belt or our TM Evo. We're going to be using 2 copies of Boss's Orders, so we can gust up one of our opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. 1 copy of Night Stretcher, so we can put a Pokemon or basic energy card from our discard into our hand. We'll be using 1 copy of Nest Ball, so we can put a basic Pokemon onto our bench. 1 copy of Superior Energy Retrieval, so we can discard 2 cards from hand to put 4 basic energy cards from our discard pile into our hand. Meaning if Mega Charizard X EX is discarding cards off our bench, it doesn't matter because we can get them back using the Superior Energy Retrieval. 1 copy of Counter Catcher. If we're behind on prizes, we can gust up our opponent's bench Pokemon. 4 copies of Lily's Determination, which means we shuffle our hand into our deck, draw 6 cards, but if we have exactly 6 prize cards remaining, we can draw 8 cards instead. It's a fantastic early game card, this one, and drawing 6 cards at any time is always very, very useful. An incredible card. Then we'll be using 4 copies of Ultra Ball. We get to discard 2 cards from our hand, and we get to search for any Pokemon in our deck. Then we're going to be using the Pokemon tool Air Balloon, which reduces the retreat cost of our Pokemon by 2. And then we'll be using 8 copies of Fire Energy. So let's get into the games. Now, sped these games up for you guys. Let me know in the comment section down below if you like seeing the sped up gameplay or if you prefer the normal speed gameplay instead. So let's get into the games. So first up, we're against a Marnies Grimmsnarl deck. And we're going to go second in this one. And we already start with a mulligan. But then luckily we finally get into that 80 HP Charmander and hope that they can survive a few hits. They start off with a Petra Run. They've attached an energy, but not much else really happened in that turn. So I attached my energy, Iono myself and my opponent, which allows me to get to my other Charmander, and then I get to do the amazing live Coal for 20 damage. And then they start to reveal a bit more of this Marnies Grimmsnarl deck. We've got the Munkidori to worry about, we've got a Snorunt, and the Impidimp. They then get to Lily's Determination, and I see a second Monk, and I'm thinking, oh dear, these damage counters are going to be coming my way, and there it is. They fling them over, but luckily I've got that Battle Cage in my hand, so I put that down so I don't have to worry about damage counters on my bench, and then throw away some cards and evolve into Charmeleon, getting ready for that Mega Charizard X on my next turn. And then luckily I get to Buddy into some more Charmanders and Pidgeys, and I find myself my Mega Charizard once again. But I decide not to use that one. I'm going to go into ordinary Charizard EX with the maximum belt so I can knock out this Petra Run EX, because my tactic is, if I just knock them out, I won't have to worry about damage counters. So there was the first knockout on the Petra Run EX. Then my opponent's gone into that Morgrim, straight into the Grimmsnarl, threw energy straight onto it, and straight away then I'm starting to panic as they link Determination to get 8 cards once again, and they've got 3 powered up Munkidoris also on the bench, and they've then gone into Frostlass as well, which will continually injure my Charizard EX. But luckily I get to go into the Pidgeot EX, which makes this deck so consistent. I'm then umming and ahhing over whether to use Iono or use Dawn. Then I quick search and grab the Battle Cage so that those Munkidoris can't injure my bench. I don't mind them injuring Charizard EX right now because he's going down anyway. Then I grab the Fez, Charmeleon and a Charizard EX. Get into another Charmeleon, ready for either the Mega Charizard or the next Charizard EX to replace it. And luckily, the Frostlass doesn't work on my bench Pokemon because of that Battle Cage. My opponent then Munkidoris, but doesn't realise and starts flinging them towards my Pidgeot EX, which doesn't work because of the Battle Cage. And then Iono down to a 4-card hand. And my opponent then just used the Munkidori to heal the Grimmsnarl instead of firing them towards my Charizard. Not that it matters too much because he's killing Charizard no matter what. So I go into Pidgeot here because he's got the free retreat. Quick search, grab myself a second Charizard again, and then chuck those energies down to my bench. Red Candy into the Mega. Get to use flip the script as well. Get rid of the Pidgey and the Pidgeot that I don't need anymore. Grab another Mega just in case. Go into Charizard EX again, and finish off the Grimmsnarl. Now I'm thinking about my prize map. I'm either going to have to knock out 2 Munkidoris or try finding a way to deal with this Frostlass. My opponent gets rid of my Battle Cage, so they can grab themselves another Grimmsnarl, but they can't evolve into it just yet. But without that, they can then Munkidori and fling those damage counters around. And then they have quite a good tactic here. They devolution, so they kill my Pidgeot EX, and they take me back down to Charmeleon and to Charmander. But luckily, go straight into Mega here, attach some energy, and discard all 3, sorry, to do 280 damage. Then my second game, I get to go against a Mega Kanghaskan and Mega Absol deck. And here I got 3 mulligans. So second game I've got a mulligan, and I hate giving away so many cards to start off with. It puts you in such a bad and rough situation. Can we battle through? We will see. So again, we've got a Munkidori up front against us, and they have an amazing front turn. They basically get all the pieces they need out. They've got Mega Kanghaskan doing runaway draws. They've got almost a full bench turn 1. I've got my Pidgey, I've got my Charmander, and because he's a basic there, my Charmander's now got 110, and I get to do the Mighty Gust for 20 on my Mega Kanghaskan EX, thinking maybe that 20 will mean quite a bit later on. It might be the difference between a one-hit knockout with the Charizard or not. My opponent then loses Determination. They seem to have a lot of cards at this point, and a Bravery Charm. I'm staring down a 380 HP Mega Kangaskhan. I get to Rare Candy straight into my Charizard, and then power him up, retreat my Pidgey to hopefully save him for a Pidgeot later, and take Mega Kangaskhan down to 200 HP. One more hit from my Charizard, and he's going down, and that's 3 prizes to me. The opponent then uses Arven to grab an item and a tool, and uses the monkey to start healing their Mega Kangaskhan. That was quite a nice little technique they were doing there. Energy switch to take the energy off one monkey and give it to the other. And then they're going to the Stone Mask Ogre knowing that I can't touch it. Not with these Pokemon. So I just have to end my turn. And then the opponent goes into Mega Absol. Quite a big threat. And once again, they then start pinging, try to ping around some damage counters. Doesn't work because of the Battle Stadium. And unfortunately, because I had 6 damage counters, the Mega Absol was able to kill me for knockout. So now I got my Charmander, use Dawn, grab the Oricorio, grab a Mega Charizard, and a Charmeleon. I'm thinking this Charmander isn't really destined for this world, so I put him up front, a little bit of a sacrifice, hoping that my opponent doesn't have a boss's orders, but they did, which was a bit of a shame. And once again, they tried to Munkidori something on the bench, which didn't work. They then discarded my Charizard, which was very hard to see. But luckily I was able to get into my Pidgeot now, grab a Charizard using the Night Stretcher, which they were able to get rid of. And Rare Candy back into Charizard. And power him and Moltres up. Then I went to the Moltres, thinking, well, he's a 1-prizer. They don't really want to be killing a 1-prize, they want my 2 prizes. So I'm just not going to give them the option. Then a Superior Energy Retrieval to get 4 energies back into my hand. I've now got a powered up Charizard EX and the Moltres. I knew I couldn't one-shot with Charizard EX, so I thought that Moltres was going to come in really handy, weaken it, so I can then get the one-shot next turn. And then do 110 to the Mega Absol, just weaken it just a little bit. And then Iono me down to 6 cards. And again, they try Munkidoriing my bench Pokemon, which isn't going to work with that Battle Cage. So they then finish the Moltres, and they get to discard my boss's orders. But now I know my Charizard can take out this Mega Absol. I'm thinking, I've still got 6 prizes to get. That's 2 Mega Knockouts. If I can get another boss's orders, I can kill this Mega Absol and then the Kangaskhan. So that becomes my plan. Flip the script. Use the quick search as well, grab another Charizard, because it's these Charizards that I need now, because I'm not going to get enough energy to be able to use the Mega Charizard. Grab 3 prizes, and they've gone to the Stone Mask. Well, I've got that boss's orders in hand, so as long as I can keep it there, I have won this game. And for some reason, my opponent goes out into the Mega Kangaskhan, probably to do the runaway draw, but it doesn't matter, because now I don't even have to use my boss's orders. I can just take knockout straight away on this Kangaskhan. So thank you very much for watching Cinnabar Collectibles today. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe down below, and let me know, will you be using Mega Charizard X? Thank you very much, I'll see you in the next video. Good night.